Cystic fibrosis is the most common fatal genetic disease affecting Canadian children and young adults. At present, there is no cure. Cystic Fibrosis Canada works to improve and lengthen the lives of people living with the genetic disorder. Samantha Roy of the Niagara chapter visits our studio. Approximately 1 in 3,600 live births are diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. Samantha, that's a staggering number.
It's more common than you would think. Yeah, it's very, very common in genetics, and luck of the draw, if mom has the genetic and dad does too, there's a 1 in 4 chance that their children are going to have CF.
You are living yourself with CF.
I am that 1 in 4 for my parents.
How has it affected your life? How have you had to adjust?
It affects every organ in your body, so absolutely everything in life. It's going to affect your breathing, your bowels, your energy, infection. When infection sets in, your common cold will last you maybe 4 to 5 days. For a CF patient, it can last up to a month, and that includes a hospital stay most of the time. So you really have to just take it day by day and battle by battle and face every hurdle as it comes. And for me, my childhood was actually really healthy. Active lungs is probably the most important thing that you can do. So for me, being a super active kid, I really didn't experience a lot of decline until adolescence and into adulthood. So it changes daily, but we're running with it.
Talk about running with it. I mean,
Yeah.
you look fit. You look like you are very fit. And
So
are you able to exercise? Are you able to do
now
those
I am.
things?
Yes. I had a period in my life where I think I turned 23 and it started to get really bad. I was a competitive athlete up until that point. From 23 until 2 years ago, I couldn't. That's the best compliment you can give me, because had you met me 2 years ago, you would not have said that. I was very skinny, very sick. It was very apparent that I was not doing well. So now, yes, I'm back at the gym. Kudos to Curtis, who is my personal trainer. He's whipping me back into shape and taking me back in time. So it's, yes, that's a great compliment.
The
Thank you.
local chapter, what exactly gets done here at the local chapter?
Honestly, raising awareness is the most important thing that we can do. 2 years ago, my life was saved by a genetic modifier medication, which ultimately addresses the main cause of CF. It goes right down to the gene, and it tricks it into thinking that it is actually healthy. Had Niagara chapter, had CF Canada, had everybody involved not been a part of this imperative change, I wouldn't be here.
You and I know we've come together today partially through a mutual friend who lost her son to CF.
Yeah.
And in many cases, it can be a death sentence for some people.
So if we go back in history, it was. Children making it to kindergarten was almost impossible. So to be standing here as a 32-year-old woman, I'm humbled to be able to say that. And it's very unfortunate that it took so long. And we're not there yet. We're as close as we have ever been, but we are still losing people in the process. And it's imperative that, raising our voice and funds and awareness and just to save as many as we can.
How is it diagnosed?
There is actually over 1,200 different mutations. So every patient is very different, but the ultimate, the thing that is similar for everybody is our salt intake. We have a chloride channel issue. And what happens is it creates thick phlegm all the way throughout your body. So obviously your lungs and your bowels and everything kind of comes to that. But we do a salt test. So in your sweat, when you sweat, there is a very little amount of salt. For CF patients, it's actually a lot. So a salt test will you'll put a device on your arm and it will entice you to sweat, and then they will absorb all that sweat and they'll do a chloride test. 69, so the number 69 and above is a positive CF diagnosis. You would gag if you were to get that salt in your mouth.
I look at you and I think about you having CF, but also being the president of the local chapter. How rewarding is that for you?
I'm just so grateful that I'm in a position, having gotten my hands on miracle medicine, that I do have the energy now to be able to devote everything I have so that other children can say the same thing. Without crying, there was a time when I was doing everything that I did for the littles so that they could avoid the incredible suffering that I had experienced throughout my adolescence. So to be in the position to be able to continue to raise my voice on a bigger platform for all of those kids whose destinies are genuinely changing, it's overwhelming to say to you.
You have the walk coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
Why at Safari Niagara?
Safari Niagara has always been an incredible support system for us. They are going out of their way to make sure that it is an incredible experience for everybody involved. So it's actually an honor that they are still, in affiliation with us and providing a location, especially with COVID having just happened and the doors being shut for so long. It's an awesome time.
What happens this weekend?
We're all going to be there with guns a-blazing at 8 o'clock in the morning, ready to go. We have incredible sponsors that show up. Many families are repeat families, which is awesome, and many new faces. But we show up, we walk the zoo, we all kind of Cheer United is coming this year for a performance and to cheer us on all the way. Joe Fettas is donating a ton of food for everybody. The community, the CF community, is like no other.
Talk a little bit more about that. What do you mean by that?
We are a special kind of breed. We are so determined. We're always, no matter what we face, we are a positive, incredible group of people who are determined to change the world. So it's incredible. It gives you the warm and fuzzies.
Sam, how important is this fundraiser for the finances of the local chapter?
Science is growing and improving, and without funding, we don't have scientific advancement. And I feel like I am the poster for it all. I mean, had you met me 2 years ago, I would have coughed every other word. I probably would have declined the invitation because it would just have been going from outside to inside. I would have had a cough attack to the point of having to walk off and vomit. It was overwhelming. So it's incredibly important that we continue. Remember me mentioning that there is over 1,200 different mutations. This medication that I have doesn't work for everybody. So there are still some patients who are still, trying their best to continue to raise their voice and funds so that their time can come, so that they can have access to new and upcoming scientific medication as well.
Sam, you're a true inspiration. I feel honored to be sitting here with you today. Thank you so much, and good luck with the walk.
Thank
this
you.
weekend.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.